Okay, we're going to, you know, explore the relationship between Hanukkah and Shabbos. The well known that the Yevonim, one of the things that they legislated against was Shmir Shabbos. So Shonus was Shabbos, Chodesh, and Mila. Right,
Bless you.
that's right. The okay, so the question is, what hang up they had with Shabbos. It's very interesting that it never ceases to amaze me that every Hanukkah has all the elements that the Yevonim legislated against. You know, there's always a Shabbos Hanukkah. There's always a Rosh Chodesh on Hanukkah. Rosh Chodesh Tevis, right? And Hanukkah is 8 days, like Bris Milah. Right? Regarding the latter point, we'll discuss that on a Wednesday night shir. If you want to call in to the Anenu, we'll be speaking then. Wednesday night we'll be speaking on Anenu, talking about what the Greeks had, the hang up they had with Bris Milah. But today we want to discuss what they had against Shabbos. And before we get into it, let's pose some questions about Shabbos itself. Right, Shabbos is Zecher L'Maaseh Bereishis. Right, it's commemorating, celebrating creation. So, listen, you would think there's two landmarks in which you would celebrate something. Either celebrate when you started, like Chanukah. Right, they re-inaugurated the Beis Hamikdash. That's where it started from. So, celebrate these days where they re-inaugurated the Beis Hamikdash. Like in the beginning of Chodesh Nisan, we don't say Tachanun because that's when they inaugurated the Mishkan in the Midbar. So either you mark the day where it all started, or you mark the day where it ended. The Siyum, make a Siyum. Right? So you would think that Shabbos ought to be either on Sunday or on Friday. Right? Sunday because that's where creation started. Friday because that's where creation ended. Right, and it's Shabbos is on neither. It's Tafka on the seventh day when nothing was created. It's neither where it started. It's neither where it finished because it finished already on Erev Shabbos, before Shabbos came in. Now, it's something to think about. So why Shabbos on the seventh day? It's not where it started. It's not where it finished. Now, everyone knows, the pasuk says, "Vayichal bayom hashvi, vayishbos bayom hashvi." HaKadosh Baruch Hu finished on the seventh day, and he rested on the seventh day. This was one of the 13 things they had to change for Talmud Yamach when they translated the Torah into Greek, because if he finished, he didn't rest. If he rested, he didn't finish. Right? So if he was Shoves the whole seventh day, so he did not finish it. So they changed it when they translated it for him. Vayichal bayom hashishi, vayishbos bayom hashvi. He finished on the sixth day, and he rested on the seventh day. So Chazal asked, okay, so what does it taka mean? So in two of the three pshatim that Chazal say, Rashi brings in Chumash, he was busy till the last nanosecond, that where he finally finished Maaseh Bereishis. So by the time that moment was over, it was Shabbos already. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Yodel et Tzamtzem Itov V'Rogav, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows how to be very, very exactly in time. To us, it would have looked like he did Melach on Shabbos, but it really wasn't. He finished just as Shabbos came in. He got it done, so that's why it says Vayichal Bayom Hashvi, because it would look like that to any observer. And then Chazal said a similar pshat had that really there are certain things that should have been created on Shabbos, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu squeezed them into Yom HaShishi. But what concerns us is the other pshat in Chazal that Rashi brings. Ma'olam chaser menucha, ba Shabbos ba menucha. Now there was something created on Shabbos, and that was menucha. And I understand. Who needs to create menucha? Just sit back and it happens by itself. Ba Shabbos ba menucha. What does that mean? Right. Second to last. The Shabbos should be the universal holiday for all everything that everything that moves. Right, because it's celebrating creation, right? Everything's Ma'aser Bereishis. So Goyim should celebrate Shabbos also. Right? Animals taka do celebrate Shabbos, but only our animals, our behemoths. There's a din of shvisas behema, but only if they belong to a Jew. So if they belong to a Jew, it's interesting, that even Goyim, if you avdecha v'amoscha, there's all, din doiraisa of, that you have to. Your slaves are not allowed to work for you on Shabbos. It's not by a guy that doesn't belong to you, so it's only an Isser Drabonin, Amira La'akum. That's why I sort of overly makos, sadly, whenever we need to get a guy, that's a guy that doesn't belong to you. If he's your Eved, there's a din doiraisa of Shvisas Eved V'ama. There's a... ask your local Orthodox rabbi, there's a serious discussion in poskim if you have a contract, like live in help, and you have a contract, whether there's not a problem of a Isser Doraisa to put them to work on Shabbos. Is there, how do you define your Eved? A person's like stuck in a contract, work for you full time. Ask your local Orthodox rabbi. But the point is amazing that only if there's a Yad Yisrael, only if there's like some type of Jewish ownership, right, on the behema or on the goy, so then he's chayiv in Shabbos, and not the same way we're chayiv, but whatever there's din of shvisa, right, by the behema and by the eved va'ama, right. But if they're totally on their own. They don't have any type of din of Shabbos, and that's hard to understand. It's Ma'aser Bereishis. Everything's part of Ma'aser Bereishis. So why isn't Shabbos the universal holiday? It's only for Klal Yisrael. Only the Klal Yisrael, only things that are under the influence of Klal Yisrael. All right. Lastly, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, everyone knows, Matana Tova Yeshli Beis Genazai Shabbos Shema. I have a wonderful gift in my treasure house, and it's called Shabbos. Right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm giving it to Klal Yisrael. It's Saturday. Who doesn't have Saturday? That's what it's called. It's not just that it's a good gift, but it's Beis Genazai. It's hidden in my Geniza. It's Ganuz, like Ora Ganuz. It's not hidden. Well, where is it? Why are you called saying that? Oh, it's hidden. Why is it hidden? Who can't see Saturday? What's it? So my main point is, the idea of Ganazai. It's called that something that's Ganuz. Right? It's revealed to Klal Yisrael. So what's hidden about Shabbos? So there are layers to the idea that we're going to develop. We'll start with the most basic one, and already from the beginning you could see the problem that the Greeks had with this. Let alone as we go deeper and deeper, it is not correct, and it's just inaccurate. To say that the Shabbos is to celebrate creation. That's not where it ends. That's even the Pashup Pshat. There's a more particular point. Right? Shabbos is about the recognition that the world was nivra yesh me'ayin. Right. Ex nihilo. Right. Shabbos is a day that's that reflects the fourth out of our Yud Gimel Ikarim. The fourth out of our Yud Gimel Ikarim that the Rambam laid out for us is that the world came out of absolute nothingness. Right. The celebration of creation that's not accurate. Right. It's the recognition that the world was nivra yesh me'ayin. And that's why, without even, before we develop the idea further, but that's why in halacha, a person who is a Machal Shabbos Farhesya has a din of a goy. Ilule that in this day and age, we talk about that if they didn't have a Jewish education, they're Tinok Shenishba, right? Those circumstances aside, by the book. A person who is a Machal Shabbos for Farhesya, Farhesya means that he really doesn't care. He's not even embarrassed, right? So the Chazal gave him a din of a goy because he's in effect been in denial of the fourth out of our 13 Ikarim. He's not Bikaris. Because if he doesn't care about Shabbos, it means he doesn't believe in Bria Yesh Ma'ayin. So that's why they gave him a din of being out of the fold. Right, so, the emunah of Bria Yesh Ma'ayin. So let's talk about that for a second. People don't understand, the Omek Hadavar. What it means. What we believe in. Right. The Big Bang is not Yesh Ma'ayin. It's nonsense. Right. Yesh Ma'ayin, that the Bria came out of absolute nothingness. Right? You have to understand what that means. What and why it was set as one of the cornerstones of Judaism. Right? What that means is that there's nothing that has to be true except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nothing is true except for Him, who is Baruch. The correct understanding of the emunah of Bria Yesh Ma'ayin is also to express the one thing that always was and always will be is just HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything else came out of nowhere, except for Him. He alone is the absolute truth. The one thing that must be. Nothing else must be. And, people are very, people are just not, philosophically sophisticated, right? And don't understand that when we talk about HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world for this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world for that. You have to understand that it means He first created that program, and then He followed through with that program. Like Istako Boraiso Bora Alma, He first wrote that Torah in His mind, and then He followed through with that. But there was a point prior to that. There was no such thing except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No such thing except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He has to bestow goodness, so He doesn't have to do anything. Right? And if you say that, God forbid, you say there's a bigger God than God Himself. The God of, the concept of bestowing goodness. It's not, Everything is artificial. And what it means is when you talk about Tachlis Abriya, things that we learned about in Derech Hashem, it means first He created that idea, and then He followed through, and based on that idea that He envisioned, He constructed a world based on those ideas. And that's what it means, Istako Baraiso Bar Alma. He first envisioned the Torah, and then based on that, followed through. The first thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu did when He created ideas. And then, based on those ideas, so we say, what's the idea behind the Bria to be mative? All right, but that idea also He created. He created the idea, and then He created the program based on that idea. All right? So anytime you talk about Chas v'Shalom, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it were, had to create the world, you are already in a conflict with the fourth yesod of our emunah, right? And as the Rambam explains in a lot of places, right, if once you say, God forbid, that the world had to be, and it doesn't just you have to realize that if you ever say HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to be a creator, right, which is what the Greeks said, because their argument was, without getting into why it's wrong. It was, God is perfect, God doesn't change, so if God is meant to be a creator, so He always was a creator. Right? The Greek, as far as I know, they didn't believe that matter was its own God. Of course, matter came from God, but God had to create it. And that's why the world was always here. It's as old as God Himself, because that's His function. His function is to be a creator. Once you say that, it means that He has functioning that He is bound by. And that means the world that is has to be the way it is. The physics that we have, we had to have that type of physics. The biology we have, we had to have that type of biology. Everything that we have had to be. Well, it's the program that even as a word, a creator is bound by. God forbid. Right? And you know what that means. You can forget about miracles. No nisim. Because Teva's mukhrach. Teva must be. Right?
Did the Greeks believe that God makes the world run?
Originally, he's the first cause.
Greeks
He's
believed in God.
first cause. Believe in first cause. And after that, the first, it's like dominoes. And then there's a second, and third, and fourth. It's first cause.
But then they had sub-gods.
Yeah.
who were
There's a
controlling-
sub-gods. There's one first cause, and the first cause had to do whatever he did. It's his function. Right? So that's not called yesh ma'ayin. Yesh ma'ayin comes out of nothing, out of nowhere, and for no reason, but for pure, by divine whim. And therefore, since it was by choice, he could change it also. And that's why you can have miracles. Right? There are other, miracles are first and foremost the immediate nafkamina. Whether you believe in yesh ma'ayin or not. If you don't believe in bria yesh ma'ayin, miracles are impossible. Because that means the laws of nature are mukhrach. They must be. They always had to be. The Creator had to do it that way. Right? You can forget about nisim. We have to realize that Bria Yesh Ma'ayin is the emunah that everything we know is all, from his perspective, artificial. Right? And that's the emunah that Shabbos is supposed to give us, as we're going to explain.
Why is it artificial?
Artificial because he made it by whim. He could have willed something else. He didn't have to give us these laws, and that's why they could change. If you daven hard enough, he could do a miracle for you. If it has to be this way.
So then it lacks permanence, but not really. Why?
It could be permanent because he wants it to be permanent, but it's all by his choice. It's all by choice, and that's why you could daven for a nes. So you could have nisim, right? If it has to be that way. Right? And so that's all the natural laws. For us, we can't change it. So from our perspective, these laws are immutable. Right? We can't change them. He could change them, because for him. For us, it's the reality that we were given. Right? For us, it's reality itself. We can't change the laws of physics, right? Any of the laws of nature. But for him, he willed these things. And he could will otherwise, right? And that's why it helps to daven. Right? He could help you because nothing has to be for him. That's why you could daven. That's why. Without getting into, it's how there's also the emunah and hashgacha pratis really comes from that also. Right? Everything is by choice. Everything, and therefore everything is guided. Nothing has to be, right for him. And that's, like I said, the Rambam writes over and over again, we cannot, in his day, the scientific community, which says it still today, just keep on reframing it. Right? The laws of nature have to be, and it's all rooted in, the way things are, that they could not have been different. It's just, reality itself, it's false. Once we accept that, then we don't believe in miracles anymore. We don't, and then that ultimately leads to the collapse of the whole Torah, right? Because it means that even HaKadosh Baruch Hu really can't save you absolutely. It depends if it's physically possible, not physically possible. Right, and so the believing that the Bria always had to be. right, is saying that teva is mukhrach. Right? The emunah of Bria Yesh Ma'ayin is that nothing is mukhrach except God Himself. He's the one thing that must exist, and nothing else. And that's why He could do nisim. Right? There's nothing He can't do. There's nothing He can't do. Right? And that's where the emunah of Shabbos comes in. You know, that it's to understand that Yaakov was Borei Shemayim V'Aretz. So going back to the question we opened up with, right? Why don't we celebrate Shabbos on Sunday or on Friday, either where it started or where it finished? Right? Answer is no, because Shabbos is about understanding that the Bria came out of nowhere. We have to get past that. We got to get outside. Got to get outside of the box, understanding that this whole setup that we view, that from our perspective, you know, seems infinite and immutable, right? Unchangeable. Right? For us, you know, it's you know, it may seem that way, but it's not really that way. You know, it has its ends. It's only true from here to here. It's true from Sunday to Friday. It has its, you know, it has its definite beginning. That prior to that point, none of this is true. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is from that point beyond, and He chose us, right, to be connected to Him, you know, even beyond the framework of the Bria, right? And that's why we keep, you know, Shabbos on Shabbos, right? It's outside of the box. The box is from Sunday through Friday, right? It's you'll note always, without fail, every year. Right? Shabbos Chanukah is always Parshas Miketz. Right? Sometimes Vayeshev Miketz, when you have two Shabbosos Chanukah, it's always Parshas Miketz. And a very cute remez, you know, right at the beginning of the Parsha, is that, you know, Paro dreams about the 7 good stalks that all came up Bekana Echad, one stem. So you imagine what that looked like. Menorah. But what interests me is that, you know, the term that the Torah chose to use, Vayi Miketz Shnosayim Yamim. It should have said Vayi Achar Shnosayim Yamim. After. You know, it's a very interesting term that the Torah chose, Miketz, at the edge of. Kates, Russian Kates, edge. The Medrash, you know, grabs onto Lashon of Mikates, the Medrash Rabbah, and it brings the pasuk. I think it's a pasuk in Tehillim. Kates some lachoshech. Kodesh Baruch Hu, you know, put an edge to the darkness. Kates some lachoshech. And the Medrash says 2 pshatim on that, you know, trying to relate it to the Parshas HaShavua. And one is that, you know, it was a simple pshat that there was a kates to how long you could keep Yosef down. Right? It was like, you can't keep Yosef down permanently. Right? He has a historic role that Kodesh Hu intended for him. So the amount of time that was shaykh to keep him, you know, down was Miketz Nosayim. It reached the absolute edge of how long you keep Yosef down. I mean, Mela, he rose. Right? Sarah Mashkim forgot him, but then all of a sudden he remembers him. There's an edge to how long you keep Yosef down. That's the first shot. And the second shot is, you know, more cosmic. That, of course, will put a kates for how long the evil is going to run amok in the world. You know, 6,000 years. Kates sam lachoshech. Right? Darkness has an edge. Look at Kates, Katzeh. It has an edge. I mean, it's not infinite. Right? It ends somewhere. Right? It may seem infinite, but, you know, it ends. It has an edge. It's the scariest thing about being in a dark room. You don't see where it ends. You think it's forever, but it's not. You know, that's what's so reassuring about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it comes to an end. You know, darkness, you don't see where it ends. but it might be very limited, but you can't see where it ends. And that's what's so frightening. All right, Kate Som Lachoshech. Kodesh Baruch Hu put an edge on darkness. So, no, the Medrash Rabbah says on the very first pasuk first pasuk in the Torah, second pasuk. All right, V'aretz haisa tov v'avo v'choshech al pnei tehom. So the Medrash Rabbah darshes it on the four evil empires: Tohu, Bavel, right? Vohu, Madai, Paras and Madai, right? Choshech zu Yavan. Without getting into why the Medrash says so, what particularly they did, but the Choshech zu Yavan, right? Darkness is Yavan. So now you can immediately make the connection. Kate Som Lachoshech, right? It's an edge to darkness. So apropos that Choshech zu Yavan, Kate Som Lachoshech, Parshas Mikeh, so is Shabbos Hanukkah. Right. But what this means is that if you've studied any of their philosophy, right, they understood that whatever truths they understood must be true, infinitely true, meaning always will be true, always have been true. Even God Himself is bound by these laws. All right, and that's how the Rambam and the Moreh Nevuchim, he just he summarizes and captures what their big mistake was, and he calls it Hitpartzut HaPhilosophim Klape Hashem, Hitpartzut Chamura, the way they burst forth to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, they broke the boundaries, and they thought that HaKadosh Baruch Hu also is bound by logic, right? And therefore they decided amongst themselves: this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do, this is what He can't do, this is what He knows, this is what He doesn't know, because it's logical. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not bound by anything. He made all these rules. For them, He made the rules. He's not bound by these rules. Right? That was their mistake. Right? These things might be true, but they're only true within certain parameters. They're true from within the parameters of Olam Hazeh. We live under these rules. Assuming they even measured the rules correctly, but even if they did, they're only true for us, who are on earth. So we're under these rules. These rules not true, going infinitely forward, infinitely backwards. Right? But when you live in darkness, you don't see the limits. You don't see the gates. Right? And so they thought, these things must be true. Must be true. Right? And the Emunah Yesh Ma'ayin is that nothing is infinitely true. Everything had a beginning, and prior to that point, none of it was true. And just like it had a definite beginning, and prior to that, it was none of it was true, it could be changed any time. All right, everything has all the laws that we know have a case. Now you have to let me try to explain this to you and understand that we say in darkness you don't see the edge, right? The darkness is just is be'etzem being fooled that this is reality. Understand that everything that you know has an edge to it. A one-dimensional creature could think he's living in an infinite reality. No, he only knows one dimension, right? Right? That one dimension could stretch infinitely. Let's say he lives in width. And stretch it infinitely, this way and that way. And it's infinite. And it's clueless that there's so many more dimensions, right? Right. I once got very annoyed at one of my Talmidim in Eshet Torah. Actually, he had someone had told him some Nefesh Chaim, about Olamas. A lot of Olamas. What we do affects the Olamas. He asked, where's even room for other olamas? How about between your ears? A lot of empty space there. What nonsense is that? Right? right? You know, it could be infinite dimensions. Right? Well, you're clueless. You only know the dimensions that you know, and you think it goes on forever and ever. And, you have no clue how limited you really are. And it goes, Right? And that's what Shabbos is all about. And then we're going to discuss, take it another level. So how so? But what the theme of Shabbos, just to the emunah that Shabbos is supposed to be giving us, is to understand, celebrating creation, but celebrating creation, that's yesh me'ayin. It's out of nowhere. It's out of nowhere. Right? Which just shows the tremendous kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't have to do any of this. That's the tremendous kindness that he chose to do this. He didn't have to. He didn't have any programming that forced him. Right? And so we have to, Shabbos is on the day that's not a part of creation. It didn't start then, it didn't end then. It started on Sunday, ended on Friday. This is out of the box. Get out of the box. I understand, to see creation, that it has a beginning and it has an end. And that way you could really appreciate the godless of the Beis. Right? He's beyond all this. Right? Shabbos is a gift to get out of it, out of the box. Right? So take it a step deeper and understand, why it's only for Klal Yisrael, and why it's Beis Genazai. You can see where we're going already, because it's out of the box. It's not part of a regular space-time. Right? Saturday is part of space-time, but not the Nakuda called Shabbos. That was hidden and revealed to Klal Yisrael only. Right? Says in the Maral. Others Sforim bring it also. What's the significance that the natural world is 7? Kodesh created the world in 7 days. As we mentioned, he really created in 6 days, right? So that makes good sense. No, there's already, the Zohar talks about this. Maral just explained it. It's already in the Zohar. 6 days, makes perfect sense. It's perfectly parallel to the time, the space and time are perfectly parallel, because the 3-dimensional world, right? 6 edges, because every dimension has 2 edges, right? Height has the top, the bottom, right? The width has the right and the left, and the depth has the in and the out. Shisha Ksavos, right? The Lashon of Zohar, Ksavos, 6 edges. Edge, Kates. 6 edges. Right? So where does Shabbos fit in? It's the center. Right? So, something interesting about the center. Right? It's everywhere, yet nowhere. Unifies, yet separate. And so first, let's just talk about Vayichal Bayom HaShvi. Right? Something that Shabbos benefits the whole world. Whether the world realizes it or not. Vayichal Bayom HaShvi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu finished. Now the word Vayichal, right, could also come from the same word as klal or kol. Right, so there's kaleh, that's finished, but there's also kol. Right? If not for Shabbos, right, chas v'sholom, theoretically there will be nothing that holds the universe together. There are 6 different edges. Each edge should pull in its own direction. Right? Shabbos is what keeps the world together. It's the Shem Shamayim that, Besod, Knesiyah, Shem Shamayim, Safal Iskayim. It's what holds everything together. It's what function of point center. If not for Shabbos, the universe would have ripped itself apart by now. That's and well, part of the function of that is that that's what causes things to add up. Things that could add up. You could build something. Anything adding up. Right? That Shabbos makes that happen. That provides the point center that allows things to come together. So it holds the world together. And if we'd live in a world theoretically without it, which we don't know what that world would look like because it's not a world that God created, but theoretically nothing would ever come together. Things would just be pulling in its own direction. We won't be able to build anything really. Make any type of system. Right? And that's that explains why there's an aspect of Shabbos that anyone can see. It's called Saturday. Right? There's an aspect of Shabbos that really benefits the universe in a way that everyone could feel and appreciate, because there's a concept that it's together. It's a mystery that keeps physicists baffled. Right? What holds the world together? So they talk about dark matter. Now they call it dark matter because they can't see it. It's a theory. It's dark. Dark ice. You slip on it, but but the dark. They call it dark matter because they really don't know what it is. That's why. What is it? Shabbos. It's what holds the whole world together. Otherwise, every force would just pull in its own direction. It's like they don't understand what's holding. There's not enough gravity to keep everything attracted to each other. It's not. There's got to be matter that we can't see. That's Shabbos. And that's why there's a certain aspect of Shabbos that anyone could see, and that's the site that it has an external layer called Saturday, right? That the whole world acknowledges, because there's an aspect of Shabbos that's as basic as reality. It's physical reality itself. That's why. Vayichal bayom hashvi. Indeed, Shabbos, finished off creation, giving it a hitkalalut. Give it a way that it all could become one cloud. Right? But that's but then there's that's the effect that the point center has on all of reality. But let's say I want to go to point center. I want to go. I want to visit point center. How do you get there? No way to get there. It doesn't exist in physical reality. Its effect. It benefits. It benefits the entire physical reality. It gives benefit, but it's not a place you can visit. And every time I teach this, some moron says, "But the central bus station is very big." I can't. It's like, because you say it's here, so I'll cut that part in half. Okay, so it's here. I'll cut that part in half, and it's no specific place, in time space, because say it's this big. What do you mean? So it's take up space on length, on width, on depth. So it's cut it in half. And how much you cut it, still, I could divide it to the top side, the bottom side, right? So it's not the center. It's infinitely divisible, ad beli sof. Ad beli sof.
The idea of Aaron that didn't take up space?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to get there. Very good. We'll get back to Hanukkah soon. We'll get there. That's not there. We're going to get there, exactly. We're going to get there. It's not something that exists in physical reality. It's a concept. So now we believe in that concept because it benefits the whole physical world, because it's unifying factor. But I want to say it. I want to go to it. I want to visit the unifying factor. You can't get there. Yeah. Can't get there. But where is it? I could tell you that it has, as it were, it visits every single dimension that there is. Because the center is the center of all dimensions. You know that. The center of the circle. Whatever you're talking about, the center will be the center to the height, to the width. It's everywhere yet nowhere. if you could ever go to the center, if you could ever get there, you have access to everything. There's no place it isn't. But it's also, it itself is nowhere. but it permeates every single dimension that there is. Right? And that's the gift of Shabbos. That's why it's Beis Genazai. It's hidden. There's no way to get to it. It's inaccessible. It's Beis Genazai. Right? It's a gift. We have Shabbos. It's a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no way to get there. It's the Matana Tov Yeshu Beis Genazai Shabbos Shema. Right. All right. And that's why this point is called, it's called, right, Vayivarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi Vayikadesh Osoi. Right? It's the point of bracha and kedusha. So starting with kedusha, it's beyond, because right? The center is not within any dimension. So it's kadosh, it's nivdal. Kadosh means nivdal, like Vikash Zar. It doesn't belong to any dimension. It's removed. And from there comes bracha. Because if you could have access from the center, you could draw from any dimension. It's a portal to all dimensions. So you could bring more into the world. Import from other dimensions. That's why Shabbos Makara Bracha. And we get to Shabbos, we get out of the box. The whole rest of the world is in the box. All right, it's just special for Am Yisrael. So all Am Yisrael is Shabbos. All right. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because He chose us, right? He got us out of the box. 1 day a week. Like 1 day a week, we're not really in this world. Or it's sort of like a dual reality is a more accurate way of saying it. On one hand, we are in this world. It's Saturday. It's a day on the calendar, and we eat and we drink. And we had this in the Derech Hashem. He said this. He expressed this. It's a duality. Our bodies are in this world, but our spirit soars free.
So why is it such a big deal if a guy keeps Shabbos?
He's trespassing. He's trespassing. It's not his. Not his. It's a gift. It's out of the box. He has to stay in the box. He should acknowledge the Creator, but he's not. Doesn't share the Creator's reality. And that's and that's the tremendous power that there is in Shabbos. We have some people have how many Shabbosos and they never had Shabbos ever. We spoke about this once. Rav Asher of Regensburg doesn't understand what the Gemara means. You're traveling, you forget which day is Shabbos. Shabbos comes, you feel it. Right. They don't understand what the Gemara means. Rabbeinu Avram ben Arambam has a sefer called Sefer HaMaspik L'Ovdei Hashem, right? Where about talking about doing avoda lishma, lifnim mishur sadin is the theme of the book, and he brings an example from Shabbos. Said, listen, you could just like take a day off on Shabbos, and that's it. Stay, you ate a little bit, and whatever. And the hard part of the day was not texting. Right? You could have, for the people that might be the whole Shabbos experience day, you just can't text, right? And eat too much and no texting. Right, but I would say a person who's more sophisticated, he says, should be thinking on Shabbos, be working with his mind. Understand that meditate about everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. Over the 6 days, and understanding that that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is beyond everything that He created. Like we said before, Shabbos is about understanding that the Creator is beyond His creation. And creation was yesh ma'ayin. But then he says a person can reach a higher level, that he is in total, utter dveikus, az tisanag al Hashem, literally. Yes, and he doesn't even see the wall in front of him, right? And his stomach is begging for food, and he doesn't feel it. He's just in a state of oinig, because he's just davik in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's real Shabbos. Right? There's just so many levels to it. Right? It's chaval. People just a day to eat too much and not text. And that's the whole Shabbos experience. It is the day where we get out of the box. Right. Right. And that's what it means. Ba Shabbos ba menucha. Right. 6 days a week. If you have some downtime, you're just goofing off. There is more work to be done. You're just not doing it. That's not rest. That's goofing off. Right. Shabbos kol malachta, there's mamish nothing to do. There's be'etzem nothing to do. Right? You're not in this. We're beyond the world of where there's work. There is nothing to do. So it's an absolute resting point, right? Just like the centers where all the dimensions come to an end. Right? Shabbos is like be'etzem menucha. It's not goofing off. It's like there really is nothing to do. Right? You're beyond the world where work is necessary, where there's anything to contribute by effort. You're past that. That's why Bosh Shabbos, it's a menucha be'etzim, not stam goofing off. Right? Reach a place where there's no work to be done. There is no work to be done. Right? And it's all necessary to be real with our emuna, that the whole world that we know, celebrating creation is also to put creation into context and understanding, what it's about. It's a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and He gave it by choice. He didn't have to do any of this. And therefore, since He didn't have to do any of this, He can do anything, because it's all by choice. He's not bound by the laws of physics, not even bound by the laws of logic. He can do whatever He wants. All this is artificial for Him. And it reinforces our emunah in Him, as being the Kol Yochel. And therefore, it's very kedai for us to keep His Torah, because He could do anything. Right? No such thing as not being kedai to keep His Torah, because what's more kedai? None of that's real. So Shabbos we get over the edge, but the rest of the world, you try to find the center, you just pass right over it. So that's kaitz v'chartz lo yishbosu. Let's go in circles. And that's life for people who are not from Klal Yisrael. The center, they never get in there. They never get into that point. Now, what Shabbos is in time is what the Beis Hamikdash is in space. All right? These two concepts are parallel. Now this is the secret of what it means. Beis Hamikdash shel mata mechuvan klape Beis Hamikdash shel mala. In every, Rav Isaac Chavik said, there's a Beis Hamikdash in every single world, every single universe, and they're all superimposed on top of each other. It's point center. So it's everywhere. So Beis Hamikdash is everywhere. So the Beis Hamikdash shel Yerushalayim shel mala, Yerushalayim shel mata, Yerushalayim shel mala, Yerushalayim shel mala. They're infinite Yerushalayim's, and they're all in the same place. Mechuvan means it's like rock. No. Mechuvan means they're superimposed on top of each other. All right, it's point center. It's everywhere. All right, that's the in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. All right. Which is the Nakuda that we are speaking about, the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Is the so over there, as was correctly pointed out, Ha'aron Eino Min Hamida, the Aron was there in the first temple and didn't take up space. It's beyond space. It's like point center, it doesn't take up space. Right? But in the second bias, we didn't have the Aron, they were going as it. But there was something else there that they did the avoda with when they went into the Kodesh Lifnai Lifnei Yom Kippur. There was the Even Shasiya. Shemisham Hu Shasa Olam. You ever see it? Where the whole world branched out from. That place is beyond time and space. So now in Yom Kippur, where the Kohen Gadol went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, right? So because he went in, there was also a spillover effect out, and it was an amazing miracle. Omdim tzfufim u'mishtachavim ravachim. You told me that makes sense. They stood crowded, but when they spread out on the floor, plenty of room. It was the koach of the Kodesh HaKadoshim extending outwards to show that all the laws of time and space and mathematics, it's all kachomer biyada yoitzer. Of course, we could bend it like silly putty.
That didn't exist in the second Beis Hamikdash, did it? That
I think
miracle. It did.
I think so, but I'm not going to swear. But I'm under that impression. Break the laws of time and space, because you understand, over there was nicker that all this, this all came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu by. So in that point, that's point center. You see the whole thing, collapses on itself. It's only true up to that point. At that point, it's not true anymore. There's a case. It's come to an end. So very interesting, Beis Yavo Aaron El HaKodesh. So this Aaron comes to Kodesh. So a lot of, on Yom Kippur. So there's a lot of drushes of Chazal. Rashi brings some of them, in his Pirush on Chumash. And what's Bezos? Now, of course, the Pashup Pshat is the big day Lavan and the Ketairas. But Bezos Yavakar, so one of the Lashonis in Chazal, Rashi brings in Chumash B'schus HaShabbos. In the schus of Shabbos, we go into the Kodesh HaKadosh.
Was it only during Yom Kippur that you stood Omdim, Tzfufim, Mishtachim, Ravachim? Or was it?
I can't tell you for sure. I'm under that impression. I know it definitely happened then. I cannot tell you what happened the rest of the year. Right, but so in that day we go in there. We go, so Bezos, so B'schus HaShabbos. Because Shabbos and the Kodesh HaKadoshim, what Shabbos is in time, is what the Kodesh HaKadoshim is in space. Right? And of course, there's a spillover effect for the 10 Nisim that happen, throughout, Beis Hamikdash all the time. It's a spillover effect. But the Kodesh HaKadoshim is Mamish point center, Mamish, and then there's close to center, the Heichal, the Azara, and the Kedusha diminishes, of course, as you distance more and more from that point. So here's the amazing thing. You'll find throughout Chazal, Lashon Kishenichnesu Yavanim Laheichal. They didn't make it to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. They couldn't see it. Off their radar. There's a Nechnesu Yavanim Laheichal. You won't find a Lashon Chazal. No, go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. They missed it. Couldn't see it. Invisible to them. So the Maharal explains, that you take the gematria of Heichal, 65, right? The gematria of Yavon is 66, right? One more than Heichal. That's why you're able to overtake the Heichal. Right? What says the Maharal? That the word Heichal, could be spelt also if I didn't want to rely on the tseri, that's under the Hey, I would spell it Hey Yud Chaf Lamed. If I wanted to use letters instead of vowels, I would throw in an extra Yud to compensate for the tseri. Heichal, right? Otherwise it could be read Hichal, right? Heichal, right? And there's a hidden Kedusha, a hidden Yud. Yud is the letter of Kedusha, right? That's why, you need a minion for Dvorim Shed Kedusha. Can't say, All right, Yud is the letter of Kedusha. There's a hidden Yud. You know where it comes from? It comes from the Kodesh HaKadoshim. There's a hashpah from the Kodesh HaKadoshim that extends hiddenly within the Heichal, but it's, it needs to be brought out. It needs to be, someone has to, awaken that hidden kedusha. The kedusha of the Kodesh Kodashim as that permeates the Heichal has to be awakened. Who awakens it? The Kohen. Kohen Gematria 75. That's Heichal with the extra yud of the hidden kedusha. So the Chashmonaim or Kohanim, says the Maral, are able to awaken the kedusha of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, awaken it within the Heichal, and Mimela, the Greeks were ejected. Right? Right?
How come in the Beis Sheni they got into the Kodesh Kodashim?
No, they burnt it. I mean, you're talking about Titus.
Yes.
Titus, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. They were out to destroy. The Yevonim were out to prove a point. That's the difference. They wanted to prove that their philosophy reaches where our Torah reaches. Right? The Romans were just stum out to destroy. So it's where the point, as it were, self-disproved itself. They never made it to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And the oil, they were metame all the shmanim, timukol shmanim. Right? What did they miss? The pach shemen munach b'chosamo shel kohen gadol, the one who goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, had his stamp. They missed it. It had the power of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Munach b'chosamo shel kohen gadol. They were oblivious to it.
It's so interesting, given the fact that the Chashmonaim, the whole dynasty, was so messed up, and yet they had such a pivotal role.
Yeah, well, they got messed up afterwards.
Yeah.
Power corrupts. They were supposed to give, like the Ramban says, they're supposed to immediately look for someone Mizera, David, and give the Melucha to him. Yeah. All right. So now, so that's what so they're legislating against Shabbos was a parallel action to their breaking into the Beis Hamikdash. Right? It was a statement. Right? That our philosophy, our science, it's true. It's true everywhere. Right? And if it's true everywhere, you don't need this Torah stuff. So I wanted to break into the Beis Hamikdash, and they legislate against Shabbos because what the Beis Hamikdash is in space is what Shabbos is in time. Two parallel ideas, right? And they're infiltrating, showing that our stuff is true, and then the Shabbos there is no beyond. Right? Right? So this is what David HaMelech says. Right? L'chol tichla ra'isi kates. Rechava mitzvascha ma'od. Right? Every tachlis, right? Anything that has a constructive purpose has a tachlis. Recicates. It's only true up to a certain edge. Rechava mitzvascha ma'od. Just your mitzvahs are infinitely wide. Right? All the other secular wisdoms, they are constructive. They have a tachlis. Right? They have a but they have a kates. Everything has its edge. It's only true. And it's so true that once the thing has performed its function, it's over. It's finished its history. It served its purpose. Right? Only Torah goes on forever and ever and ever. Because the Torah, Shabbos, basically these things are point center. They have no end. The center per se has no edge. All the other dimensions have their edge. You know where they end? They end at the center. That's where they end. The center itself has no edge. It's a whole tichla reisi kates sam lachosha, right? Mi kates nasayim yomim rechavim. The mitzvahs are infinitely wide. It doesn't end anywhere. It doesn't end anywhere. If there'll be infinite different dimensions, there'll still be only one center to all of them. And that center will be on all those infinite different dimensions. And that's what the Torah is, that's what Shabbos is, that's what the Beis Hamikdash is in space. You know, the Nakuda of Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's why Torah is the one truth that's forever and ever. All the laws of physics that we know, they're going to come to an end at the end of the 6,000 years. When Kodesh was, we learned. Kodesh was going to close the world down for renovation. So all the laws that we know are just going to go. The new world's going to work on different laws altogether. But it'll be the same Torah. It'll be the same Torah. Yom Shekulo Shabbos. Shabbos never ends. Yom Shekulo Shabbos. Point center is always true. All these other things have a case. Shabbos is Yom Shekulo Shabbos. Olam Haba was going to be the day where just Shabbos. Go into the center. Right? That's Kate Sam L'Chosha. That's Choshech Zuyavan. And the problem is when you live in darkness, you don't see that there's an edge to it. Right? And don't see the Rechavam Mitzvascha Ma'od, that everything else has a edge, and only Torah is infinite. All these things that come from that Nakuda of center, which is the Torah, which is Shabbos. In space, it's the Nakuda of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So I don't know if you mentioned this before. The Mishnah Midas, and what this will conclude. Right, Mishnah Midas says that the Yevonim broke into the Beis Hamikdash in 13 different places. They had a fence around Har Beis called the Sorag, and they broke it in 13 different places. And that's always mentioned. That's Ufortzu Chomos Migdalai. It's because that really defines what they try to do. They trespass. They try to say that their science, their culture, it's all true even there, and it's not. That's the edge where it's all true. Prior to that point, we get to kedusha, you're beyond, and none of this is true anymore. Only the Torah is true inside and in there, not the secular stuff. It all ends there. So they broke in. That's why Chazal captured what they did. They broke in. The whole thing is break-in entry. Trespassing. Right? So now, when those breaches were repaired, so Chazal made a halacha that wherever you stand, where they breached, if you ever, you're walking, you pass, you standing opposite breach, you have to bow to Mishtachave. That's what's the message? They broke in. They want to say that whatever they consider their truths are true infinitely. Even the Beis Hamikdash is not beyond everything they say. You have to bow. Sure, no, bend over. No. The line does not go further. When you reach the Nakuda of Kedusha, reach the center, it doubles over on itself. It does not continue. That's what Ishtachavai is. Right. Anything we didn't answer? Oh, yeah, Rosh Hashanah, you should have a Licht Chanukah and keep Shabbos like you're supposed to also.
So that's probably also why they were so distraught with cooking, right? Because cooking
Yeah.
don't follow nature.
Yes.